Good morning. President Park Geun-hye stresses the importance of public officials' roles in eradicating corruption. The violence has calmed for now, but the anger is alive and well in Ferguson, Missouri. Trek around the capital along the Seoul Dulle-gil Trails, where you can get a taste of culture and history. Games, computer games, TV games with a twist. So get into it on Korea Today, Wednesday, November 26th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. I'm Kim Young alongside Ojin Ju and Kim Min Jung.
Good morning, everyone. Emotions are running high in Ferguson, Missouri, where a grand jury has decided not to indict a white police officer who shot and killed an unarmed black teenager. Lots of emotions there, and buildings were burned, shops looted, and cars destroyed, as you can see.
And more arson, more violence, and more looting are expected in that city. And this protest is spreading across the U.S. and Canada as well, and some 130 protests had either occurred or were planned on Tuesday in support of the Brown family and in protest against police violence and racial injustice.
That's right. U.S. President Barack Obama did say that it is understandable that some protesters are angry, but he did call for peace and calm.
And the situation has calmed for now, but police are on high alert across the country for any riots and lootings that may be going on. Now, we're going to find out a little bit more about that later on with our Eunice Kim joining us for our World News segment. For our top story this morning, during a cabinet meeting at the presidential office of Cheongwade on Tuesday, President Park Geun-hye emphasized the importance of public officials working towards the eradication of corruption in the public sector. President Park presided over the cabinet meeting, which largely revolved around the subject of eliminating foul play, and stressed that public officials have a responsibility to put their country before their own interests and live up to high standards of conduct, underscoring her pledge of prioritizing the end to corruption. In the same meeting, President Park reaffirmed she would speed up deregulation in order to boost the slumping economy and requested that the National Assembly fast-track bills regarding the budget for next year.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has lashed out at the U.S., saying the UN draft resolution passed last week condemning Pyongyang is a political ploy against the regime. The North's official Korean Central News Agency said Tuesday that Kim Jong-un, the first chairman of the National Defense Commission, visited a local museum where he strongly criticized Washington, calling it murderous and barbaric. The draft resolution that suggests that the UN Security Council consider referring North Korea to the International Criminal Court has angered Pyongyang, but it's rare for the North Korean head of state to denounce the U.S. publicly. In the meantime, the KCNA also reported that some 100,000 North Koreans gathered for a rally in Pyongyang on Tuesday in protest of the international campaign. One general at the site warned that the choice of a nuclear preemptive attack is in their hands.
The director of the government-run think tank Korea Development Institute called for additional key interest rate cuts to counter the risk of falling into deflation. KDI Director Lee Jae-jun said during a seminar on Tuesday that concerns over deflation was growing amid sluggish demand and low inflation. Inflation has remained at around 1%, short of the central bank's 2.5 to 3.5% target. He said Korea had lessons to learn from Japan's recession, which came with the collapse of the real estate and stock market in 1990, and then deflation that followed. He said sluggish demand had basically triggered Japan's deflation and that Korea needs a policy of quick monetary easing to cope with deflation risks. Korea's key rate stands at a historically low 2%.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. And yesterday, the government and the left-leaning minor opposition party clashed over a petition calling for the disbandment of the party during their final arguments at a court hearing. Let's take a look at what this is all about on 동아일보. And
The headline says 170,000 pages of war, final decision left to 9 constitutional court justices. So it was a whopping 170,000 pages of case data and reference material, as the hearing comes more than 1 year after the Ministry of Justice filed a petition with the Constitutional Court to dissolve the Unified Progressive Party, or the UPP, citing the arrest of some UPP members on rebellion conspiracy charges. And if we take a look at the sub-headlines for more detail, the Constitutional Court heard closing arguments from both sides. Justice Minister Hwang Kyo-an remarked that the UPP is a cancerous existence, while UPP leader Lee Jung-hee claimed that the petition was launched to oppress the minor party. If we take a look at this image, if more than 6 of these 9 Constitutional Court justices favor the request, the UPP, which holds 6 seats in the parliament, will be disbanded. Now moving on to a story here on 중앙일보 about the pension, the public officials' pension reform, and the story is called "Opposition Party Sets Monthly Maximum of $2,700 in Pension for Public Servants." And looking at the sub-headlines here, the main opposition party, New Politics Alliance for Democracy, came up with a reform bill yesterday regarding the government officials' pension program. And in line with the ruling Saenuri Party, the opposition party also proposed the pay more but receive less method to public servants to help reduce the government's growing pension deficit. And now sliding over to Gyeongyang Shinmun for a look at this image here. You heard about this at the top of the hour. It spins out quite significantly on most of the local papers as well. The title of the picture says, "Grand Jury Does Not Indict Ferguson Police Officer, Racial Tension Deepens." And as you see in the image, violent protests erupted in Ferguson after the grand jury decided not to indict a white police officer in the death of an unarmed black 18-year-old male. The fatal shooting has indeed sparked weeks of demonstrations exposing deep racial conflict between many African Americans and police. And more details to come later in Global Updates, so please do keep tuning in for that. We'll take a quick look at 조선일보 now for this top headline about Samsung Group, and it says Samsung expected to sell off General Chemicals and Techwin to Hanwha Group. So it's been reported that Samsung Group has decided to sell its petrochemical affiliates Samsung General Chemicals and defense enterprise Samsung Techwin to Hanwha Group. Now, this is the first time since 1997 that Samsung has made such a decision to sell off its significant affiliates to another local conglomerate. And finally, let's turn to the Mail Business newspaper and take a look at another story, a story regarding Samsung and its electronic wallet service. The article is called "Samsung to Counterattack by Expanding Its Mobile Payment Service." Looking at the sub-headlines, with an array of smartphone-based payment services such as China's Alipay, as well as Apple Pay and PayPal coming into the market. Of course, Samsung Electronics is now seeking to hit back by expanding its electronic wallet service called Samsung Wallet. And this service is linked to 6 credit card companies and is expected to herald intense competition worldwide. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Wednesday. Now following are the stock numbers from Tuesday.
Korean is the 13th most used language in the world, according to a U.S.-based publication on global languages and dialects. It's actually used by more people than French, and it seems that more and more foreigners are wanting to learn the language, with their purposes becoming more diverse. To tell us more, we're now joined by Arirang musician Semin here in the studio. Good morning, Semin.
Morning. Yes, the interest in learning the language Korean seems to be on the rise these days, with nation as well as organizations coming up with different methods to teach the language. For instance, a online tutorial provided by a cyber university Korea is one. Now, let's take a look at some of the more major reasons behind the growing interest in learning Korean, as well as the significance in promoting it to the international community.
He wasn't driven by K-pop or K-wave dramas. Bizayo Bekata, a student from Ethiopia, was driven to come to Korea solely to pursue his dream of studying medicine. He was inspired by Korean doctors who were treating the sick back in his home country. But before he could even begin his desired field of study, Bekata first had to learn the language it was being taught in.
아직까지 어려운 건 쓰기예요. 예, 한국 쓰기. 계속 예를 들면 어떤 지났으면 못 따라듣는 거 있으면은 다시 플레이하고 그런 식으로 했어요.
Bekata's ambitions to study and work in Korea is part of a growing trend. Over 86,000 foreigners in Korea were receiving paychecks as of last year. To support the country's expanding foreign workforce, the government rolled out a plan to issue more work visas to eligible foreigners, granting them rights to reasonable pay and safe working conditions. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy is also pushing to offer visas to foreigners who earn a degree from a Korean college as part of a drive to foster more professional foreign manpower. A professor at Erciyes University in Turkey says more students in his country are preparing to get a job with a Korean company, which drives them to enroll in the Korean classes he teaches.
중요하죠. 지금 터키에서 예전에는 한국어에 대한 인식이 높지는 않았는데 요즘 한류 덕분이기도 하고 한국 기업들 때문이기도 한데 한국과 졸업생들은 대부분 다 취직이 되고요. 이스탄불이나 큰 도시에 터키 큰 도시에 있는 한국 기업들에 취직이 되고.
Over in the U.S., Professor Lee Sun-hee says she's noticed increased competition among students wanting to branch out to Korea.
A program that's been offered by MIT has gained popularity these days, as students want to be among the select 12 who are given a chance to have an internship in Korea.
Local colleges in Korea are also playing a major role in attracting more foreign students and workers to the country. Schools like the Cyber University of Korea even offer free online language courses. Launched last year, lessons are taught in video format and offered in 5 languages: English, Japanese, Chinese, and Spanish. To meet the growing demand, Kim Chung-sun, the founder of the program and president of the Cyber University of Korea, says he soon plans to personalize the teaching material for foreigners working in different fields.
With the lessons that are provided, foreigners will have no trouble handling casual, everyday conversations. But I think providing them with the skills to understand language specific to their field will help to bring more foreign workers to Korea.
Language is no longer just a form of communication, but it is a medium that opens doors to a country's culture. And as Kim pointed out, the learning and teaching of the Korean language could also soon become the driving force behind the growth of our economy.
You talked about this free Korean language courses that the Cyber University of Korea offers. So how can foreigners get access to these courses? Do they have to apply for it, or is there any other way that they can take these courses?
Of course, approximately half-an-hour lessons are provided free online, as I've said earlier, on the websites of Cyber University, as well as even on YouTube and even Navercast. And as the founder of the program said, more elements will be added to the contents. So Chinju, if you ever come across getting interested in it, you may even be able to find the right lesson for yourself.
For Korean lesson for me,
yes,
right? Okay. And apart from the education programs, I heard that there's a job fair going on for foreign students who are seeking job in Korea or in a Korean company.
Yeah, for one, the Federation of Korean Industries is holding a job fair exclusively targeting international students in Korea this week. Now, considering the first job fair ever provided by this organization, they say they're only going to target it to the international students coming from Asian countries, as they believe some 7,000 students are coming from the region. Now, the fair will help connect the students with some 10 large Korean conglomerates, including Samsung Construction and Trading, Tucson Heavy Industries, and even Asiana Airlines. And in the longer run, the organization says that they will help widen their audience base to reach out for more international students.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Semin, for that report.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Chinju and Semin. You know, I've been trying for the longest time to learn to speak French, but
Wow.
if more people speak Korean than they speak French, I think I'm set for life.
Well, there you go. I mean, you got the English down, you got the Korean down, and I'm still working on my English, so I'll just stick with that for now, right? All right, now the weather has been rather fair, I would say, for this time of the year, and we keep saying that these days, but I do understand that it is getting a little bit chillier these days.
Right, for a check of today's weather conditions, we'll turn to Chun Sung-cho, who joins us from outdoors. Good morning to you, Sung-cho.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm reporting live from Yongsan Family Park. Today, this morning, we're starting off with relatively mild conditions here in Seoul. The current temperatures right now are 9 degrees Celsius, just slightly chilly, and the entire peninsula is blanketed with overcast skies. Things will gradually clear out as the high-pressure system over the West Sea approaches the Korean peninsula, and you'll be able to see sunshine and clear skies in the afternoon. On the other hand, over in the south, though, rain clouds will linger all throughout the day, and there are some areas receiving scattered drizzles as of now in Chungcheongnam-do province. From 5 to 20 millimeters of showers are expected in Jeju in the next 24 hours, and less than 5 millimeters in the rest of the southern regions. Well, whether if it rains or not, enjoy the comfortable conditions for the time being while you can, because December will come next week with sub-zero temperatures. The Korean Meteorological Administration predicts that mercury levels will plunge below freezing starting on Tuesday next week. So guys, yes, it is getting chillier, and you better get your winter clothes ready. And now let's get a check on today's temperature readings. Midday highs will mostly hover in the mid-teens. Seoul will be 14 and Busan the warmest at 16. However, the eastern regions remain exceptionally chilly compared to the rest of the nation, such as Gangneung at 9 degrees Celsius. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to Minjang.
Now, disappointment, confusion, and anger are very much alive. Nearly one day after the Ferguson grand jury announcement that white police officer Darren Wilson will not see trial in the shooting death of black teenager Michael Brown, our Eunice Kim has the latest on that. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, catch us up on what happened.
Right. Well, people on the streets watching from home, even President Barack Obama publicly responded shortly after that decision yesterday. And the reaction we've been hearing from the African American community is that they felt Black lives simply didn't matter under the U.S. justice system. Now, despite efforts and calls to control it, that anger poured out into the streets following the announcement that came around 9:10 p.m. local time Tuesday morning's eerie silence had been preceded by a night of mayhem and riots that overtook peaceful protests to destroy parts of that community. St. Louis County Police said about a dozen buildings in the Midwestern town, many of them private businesses, were burned down. A no-fly zone was issued over Ferguson for a time as rioters shot at least 150 rounds into the sky. There are no reports of fatalities, though. Shortly after the no indictment decision was announced by County Prosecutor Robert McCullough, Michael Brown's family released a statement saying they were, quote, profoundly disappointed that the killer of our child will not face the consequences of his actions, and urge those who share their pain to channel their frustration in ways that will make a positive change. We need to work together to fix the system that allowed this to happen.
I see a lot of violence there, and it seems like it'll take some considerable amount of time for this to subside. And this story is really much bigger than that of just one community and more more demonstrations are planned across the country today.
Right, we did see protests spark up in major and minor cities directly after that announcement yesterday, from Los Angeles to New York, outside the White House even. And CNN reports that by its count, more than 130 protests had occurred or were planned for Tuesday in 37 states, D.C., and all the way to Canada.
Now, more demonstrations, this time in Hong Kong. Police there are running into resistance as they try to clear out parts of the Mong Kok protest site, and there have been dozens of arrests already.
Yeah, it was a very different response from the clearance of part of the Admiralty protest site outside CITIC Tower early last week, where student protesters even helped remove the tents and fences. Reuters reports that riot police detained 80 protesters after several thousand demonstrators took back street barricades on Tuesday evening after police had cleared out parts of Mong Kok's protest site in line with a court order. Now, despite the police action, many demonstrators had said they remain defiant in their fight for fully free elections in Hong Kong. Local media say a separate court order has been granted to clear out an even larger part of the Mong Kok area on this Wednesday.
All right, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you, Eunice.
You bet.
And coming up later on Korea Today, get a look at Seoul in a way you've never done before. Trek not through, but around the Korean capital along the Seoul Dulle-gil Trails, a taste of history and a scent of urban life and wilderness. A brand new path for brand new adventures. That's coming up on our Seoul segment.
And that Dulle-gil experience can offer you a bit of healing from the concrete jungles of Seoul. And speaking of healing, there are some performances that market towards the healing segment or the healing sector and offer a little bit of peace of mind for its viewers and the people that do go watch it. And our Imi Yoon-hee joins us with a couple of these performances. Good morning, Yoon-hee.
Good morning, that's right. So it's no secret that the arts are a source of healing for many. For some, maybe painting, and for some, maybe music. Well, today I have a look at a couple of performances that may help ward off any winter blues, so take a look.
This store owner has scars from his past, but so do all of his customers. The play Midnight Restaurant illustrates how people from different walks of life, each with a burden to bear, come together for a midnight meal to heal.
It's not about making the audience feel sorry for others. We just wanted people to see the play and think, ah, I see, and relate to the honest words and genuine people.
Acclaimed Norwegian playwright Henrik Ibsen's Pillars of Society is also another source of reflection and healing. Bernick is a businessman of a small town with plans for a lucrative deal. But in his struggle to climb to the top, he's made sacrifices and cut many others down. Just when he thinks he's gotten away with everything, his plans blow up, and now his son's life is in jeopardy. And some say exercise is a good source of healing. These young college ballet artists struggle to perfect their sport and start their careers. And along the way, a love story blossoms.
Even though the theater is small, you get a chance to see a ballet here. The audience can evaluate for themselves and see the honest truth.
Well, you would have to watch the whole play or in the performances in order to really get an idea of what exactly is healing about them, what kind of healing they offer. But what do people say? What did the audience say?
Right, so with the first performance, let's go to that one called Midnight Restaurant. They're actually calling it an all-encompassing experience. They're actually going to be cooking food on the stage, so that smell they're saying is going to contribute to really bringing in the audience to the performance, really drawing them into the performance as a whole. So you feel like you're sitting next to these people, kind of associating them, relating with them, and kind of bonding with these people on the stage.
It's the third-person perspective, but being able to relate to the characters and putting yourself in that position, right? Or putting themselves in your position.
Right. And speaking of relating to characters, that's also a big thing with one of the other performances. Henrik Ibsen, he's the second most frequently performed playwright behind Shakespeare, and he's the one behind the Society, the Pillars of Society. Now that's another performance that really is not afraid to show a different side to, I guess, our civilization and our culture. And so with that performance, as well as the other other ones, you really get a sense of kind of that you kind of can relate to these people on the stage. So they're not just perfect beings. They kind of have their flaws. They have their problems, and so that's another thing that people in the audience can really relate to, and that leads to a healing performance.
Well, sometimes you just need to realize that there are bigger problems than the ones that you have.
Right.
That's healing in itself,
Makes
right?
you more appreciative of what you do have.
All right, Uni, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, still ahead on Korea Today, games. There are smartphone games, there are video games, console games, computer games, PC, whatever you want to call them, right? There are so many out there, but why not pick up on something just a little bit more healthier, right? Well, put them all together and add on an element of exercise into the mix with a dash of education and a whole lot of fun. We'll show you what the new smart games have in store on Hot Items.
It's the Pororo invasion this time. Those of you living in Seoul will now be able to see Korea's popular animation character Pororo on the streets.
Right.
Yay.
20 Pororo taxis have started operation yesterday following the success of Tayo buses and Larva subway trains. And for more, Sami Sarang joins us in the studio. Good morning, Sarang.
Good morning, Our city is starting to look like a comic book now.
It is, and I think it's going to be an ongoing trend, putting animation characters on transportation methods. So Pororo taxis, they look like this.
Wow.
And Pororo, of course, refers to this penguin. It's a character that was developed in Korea more than a decade ago. Inside of the taxi is Pororo themed as well, with toys and even a special seatbelt for little children.
Wow.
So the taxis were launched yesterday and will run for the next 6 months.
They're known as the 보통령 because
Right.
they really, whatever Pororo does, kids listen.
It would be great if they had just set up a small TV on the back seat so that they can watch Pororo cartoons
That's an idea.
while moving to another destination.
I'll contact you with the Seoul City Mayor.
Now, how do we catch these cabs? Just hail it down on the street?
Well, if you're lucky enough to see one on the street, then you can hail it. It'll cost exactly the same as a normal taxi. But, we are talking about just 20 taxis from a total for more than 70,000 taxis in Seoul. So if you want to make sure that you catch one, then you can make a reservation online at the Seoul City government website.
I guess I'll be on the streets throughout the whole day trying to see
hail
one, right?
Now let's see what else people are talking about. Now, there's also a music video that features both UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and former figure skater Kim Yeon-ah. It's the official music video for UNICEF's latest project to raise awareness for children's rights around the world. The project is titled Imagine, and in the video, Ban Ki-moon and Kim Yeon-ah join dozens of other international public figures in singing John Lennon's song Imagine. Kim Yeon-ah has been acting as UNICEF's Goodwill Ambassador since 2010. Now moving on, the way hotels in Korea are graded will be changed. So currently they're based on the 무궁화 system, where hotels are given different number of 무궁화 flowers. Now, 무궁화, or Rose of Sharon, is of course the country's national flower. Now, I have a question for you guys. The system is based on 5 different levels. Do you guys know how many flowers are on the lowest level? One,
I would imagine.
That's what many people think, and that's what I thought as well. But the 5 system, the lowest level is actually 2 flowers,
really?
and the highest level is 6 flowers, is with a special gold background and a different shaped plaque. So obviously it's not so intuitive, and it can get a bit confusing, especially for the foreigners that visit Korea. So yesterday, the tourism ministry decided to switch the 무궁화 system to the more globally recognized 5-star system. Now, wrapping up, the latest wearable computer contest was held recently, where countries' university students showcase their latest designs. So let me show you some of them. The first one is a smart wig. This one is for patients who are undergoing chemotherapy, and it has sensors incorporated into the wig so that it monitors the patient's vital signs such as heart rate, temperature, and so on, and then sends this information real time to the patient's medical team. Then there's also a presentation outfit where you can use your entire body to give a more dramatic PowerPoint presentation, and a motorbike helmet that displays rear view images on the visor so that you don't have to turn your head to see what's behind you.
Right. Using that presentation outfit, you can like do a dance with your presentation.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah. So brilliant idea. All right, thank you, Misora.
Thank you.
And a good Wednesday morning to you all. Now, it's no surprise that the Korean national football team needs a lot of work ahead of the Asian Cup set to take place in January. So, on Tuesday, manager Seoul Dulle-gil announced that the team will meet again mid-December for a special training session. And of course, with the winter season just around the corner, the national team members will begin their special training session in Jeju, starting on December 15th for a week-long training camp. Now, manager Seoul Dulle-gil stated that a lot of work is needed and that he will choose 23 players to take part in the camp and travel to Australia for the Asian Cup. Meanwhile, the 2015 Asian Cup will kick off on January 9th. And now shifting over to some winter sports this time. History was made as Arirang won Korea's first medal in women's skeleton competition. Now, the 18-year-old did finish 6th at the third stage of the America Cup, but fortunately for her, medals are given to the top 6 finishers. All right, with that, believe it or not, we're already approaching the end of 2014. And with that comes a number of awards given out to athletes. But on Monday, Korea University held their athletic awards ceremony as several big-name athletes were honored. And with that, figure skater Kim Yeon-ah and golfer Kim Hyo-ju were given the Pride of Korea University Award, given to athletes from Korea University who make the school proud of their accomplishments. Of course, earlier this year, Kim Yeon-ah retired from figure skating after the Sochi Winter Games, marking an incredible career on ice, while Kim Hyo-ju capped off an incredible season in the KLPGA, winning 4 different awards along with 4 major victories, including the LPGA Arirang Championship title. And finishing things off, you might be a fan of the Samsung Lions, the LG Twins, the Doosan Bears, and so on, but everyone in Korea is a fan of the Goyang Wonders, the first independent team in Korea. But on Tuesday came their final practice. The Goyang Wonders, who became the first independent team back in 2009, disbanded this past September due to a lack of funding. And while most of the players on the team signed with KBO teams, the last remaining 11 held their final practice on Tuesday before saying their goodbyes. Despite being a small part of baseball in Korea, they truly were a huge part in every fan's heart. And best of luck to them, and that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
I think we can safely say that the theme for our second half of Korea Today runs around exercise, right? All right, and joining us is Peter Bint with some walking tours. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, guys.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hint to any of you. You all look in good shape, so you don't need to exercise. But have you ever been on a walking tour or walking trip yourself?
I've always been interested in the Dulle-gil. So many Dulle-gils around the country these days, but never been on one.
Yeah, and now they're much closer to home right here in Seoul. They've opened. They're a little bit similar to the Jeju Dulle-gils or the Jirisan Dulle-gil pathways you got there, but they take Seoul lights next to some great scenery here in the capital, the streams and the mountains. And what's fantastic is you get to see the culture, history and nature all rolled into one. Plus, you also get some exercise, like Young was saying. So I went on one of these tours, one of these trails, with a special guest as well. So let's take a look. Now, as the autumn season slowly comes to an end, a new trekking path around the outskirts of Seoul has become available, the 157-kilometre-long Seoul Dulle-gil Trails. And with the success of trekking paths at Jeju-do Island and Jirisan Mountain, Seoul City began building their very own. And after 4 years, on November 15th, they became open to the public. Today, we're going to be going to a Dulle-gil Trail here in Seoul. Not just by myself, we've got a very special guest today, my very own son, Gio!
Wow.
Yeah! Come on! Yeah. Say hello, Gio. Say hello.
Hello, dear.
Let's go.
Let's go.
say anything. The walking path that I chose with my son Gio had slopes gentle enough for children, course number 3. And what's great about these urban trails is the easy access. Each course is next to a subway station. Course 3 starts at Gwangnalu Station.
What's this?
At the beginning of every course, there's a stamp box, a repurposed city mailbox where you can get your stamp for the course.
Together, yeah?
And it's something kids love doing, is stamps.
Stamping.
I don't know why.
Wow, look.
I think you're more excited than he
I
is.
was pretty excited, I will admit, I'm a big kid. And we walked across the bridge, and it's not something you do every day here in Seoul, and the view of the river was amazing. And every little thing was like a game for my son, and he gave me a whole new perspective. And about 1 hour in, we got to a forest path, and walking along the trail together, it felt kind of surreal to have our very own Dulle-gil in the middle of Seoul's concrete jungle. And you couldn't even hear the surrounding cars or anything.
He's like, what are these
Check it
things?
out. See, in the winter time, they fall off the trees. The leaves are all on the floor now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It was only after our trip here that I realised how fun leaves can be.
Look at all the leaves, Gio.
And we talked and enjoyed the natural scenery around us. It was really lovely. And the Dulle-gil Trails may not have been open to the public for that long, but the course here along the side of Iljasan Mountain is already well known for its easy paths, its very gentle inclines that are barely noticeable. Perfect for little children.
I was worried because of my child, but the path is level, so it's good for him to walk on.
What better way for children who grew up in the city to get better acquainted with nature? And for the parents, they got the break they needed from their busy lives. And here, even the smallest thorn brought smiles to everyone's faces. Mini rhino.
Oh wow, he has a big horn. That's the rhinoceros thing that we do.
Dulle-gil Trails. It's nice because we don't have to go far with our children.
It's very nice for walks and families can spend quality time together.
It's hard to believe just a couple of steps away, everyone in the city was moving full steam ahead. But on the trails, it was like time moved at a different pace. And the people we met along the way, they all seemed to have this kind of leisure and ease about them. But Gio and I continued on our Dulle-gil travels. And we reached the fantastic Amsadong prehistoric settlement site. And then we got to observe and experience activities at the Kildong Ecological Park. The Dulle-gil courses were designed like this, a mixture of history, culture and nature. The Kildong Ecological Park had some hands-on activities we could try, like making crafts from materials found in nature. That's acorn, Gia, acorn.
Acorn.
Where should we put the acorn? He's learning. There. Okay, Daddy will put And we made a photo frame together, and as we did, we could explain and touch each item. It was a natural and fun way for children to learn more about nature. Look at his concentration. The kids really get into this. And I can't recommend this course number 3 enough because towards the end, there was even a campsite waiting for us. And even better, you don't need your own camping gear because for a small fee, you can borrow what they had set up there already.
And everything just tastes better when it's
Barbecue,
outdoors, right?
And after doing some exercise.
And as the sun set, Gio and I made our way onto the camping grounds. All in Seoul, don't forget. And you can't go camping without a barbecue, right?
You have too much flames
I've had an
on
absolutely
that pork,
fantastic day doing some male
bonding
bonding with my son Gio on the Dulle-gil Trails. Some beautiful scenery as well, and getting some exercise too. Both of us, we need it, I know.
So if you do that, it starts turning a little bit black.
It does. It's just too much fat on the sandwich. It wasn't my fault,
Where is he? Oh, there he is.
He worked up an appetite. Really.
Where was he?
He was starving
himself.
I'm a good father. Say, corgi, please.
Corgi, please.
Desperate to eat after all that walking. And it's the perfect end to the perfect outing for quality father-son bonding. And the Seoul Dulle-gil Trails, you really need to take the time out of your busy schedule to enjoy this. Korea today, bye-bye.
Korea today, bye-bye.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
He's a massive Korea Today fan, seriously. He's watching now, like touching the screen.
Hi, Gio. Hi. Well, how come he's not here then? You should have brought him in the studio.
No, because he doesn't like to get up this early, not even Gio.
No, but it's a
Gio
great
Senior here, so.
great bonding experience with your kids. These are things that kids will vaguely remember, walking down the trail with my dad or mom. And
Yeah,
like
and if he
that.
doesn't, I've got this frame, you know, that we made together here.
Wow.
This is the actual one. And he got really hands-on gluing all the acorns and stuff like that.
It's a family photo.
Yeah, it's going to take pride of place in our house for sure.
Aww.
And if you make some prior reservations on the website for Gil-dong Ecological Park, you can do these kind of activities for free. It doesn't cost a penny. You can do some floral arranging, some t-shirt making, painting, and also educational eco classes.
I'd love to try it out myself before it gets too cold.
Yes.
And I heard that there are a number of courses that Seoul Dulle-gil offers.
Yeah, there's so many different ones, and each one has its own charm. The one that we chose was the Ep710 mountain course, and the reason behind that is it's a nice, easy course, perfect for little kids as well. And it's great for newbies to hiking too. But the Suraksan mountain course, it's got really thick forests and some great scenery, and the most beautiful views are on the Yongmasan course. And for a walk in a forest that's closer to the urban surroundings, Hwanak Mountain is the one for you. And a good mix of a bit of everything, it's the Bukhansan or Pongsan course as well. So something for everyone.
Okay, so this is not the only souvenir that you've got. In the beginning, we saw you stamp a little book. Now,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that
I
stamp
brought
book.
that with me. Very proud of this. I got at least 3 stamps in here. This makes it all the more fun. You want to complete all these courses. Like I said at the beginning, it's 157 kilometers altogether, which is, you're not going to do that in one go. Once you get all these stamps, 28 in total, you can take this to Seoul City Hall and they'll give you a certificate of completion for it. Yeah.
You know, that gives kids a sense of accomplishment, you know, getting
It
a little
motivates them
something,
too,
right?
right?
A token of something.
And
right?
exercising, right? It's
Of
great.
course.
Yeah.
And where do you get the Dulle-gil map, or who do you contact?
So this book or the Dulle-gil map, you can get it on the first floor of Seoul City Hall. They've got like a public service center, and also some of the mountains, Gwanaksan Mountain or Achasan Mountain, and there's an iris garden as well elsewhere where you can get these all. And also the website, obviously, the Seoul City website has all the walking trails in the capital, not just these new Dulle trails, but other ones as well. So you can look that up. It's on the screen now.
Okay, you know where to find me this weekend. I'll be going around
With
the
your
city.
kids, yes.
With your, either that or the Pororo taxi.
I'll be on the Pororo taxi.
All right, thank you so much,
Thanks
Peter.
a lot.
Thank you.
Peter, here you go.
Oh, thank you.
When it comes to video games, games have evolved in such a way that you can just fit it on the palm of your hand, your smartphone, you can carry it with you, it's mobile, and much more. But what it does do is it does promote a little bit of being lazy, and I have 2 guys over here who are getting really in on these action games. Jesse Day joins us with an explanation on that. Whoops. Good morning, Jesse.
Yes, good morning. And as you can see right now, I am trekking along Namisum Island. Pretty cool.
Okay, we have SJ over here. He's really getting into the snowboarding experience, but we're going to get to that in just a little bit. So now this is the trekking, basically. So this is a game that involves trekking through certain areas.
Yes, this is KJ Innovation's Tenjoy Smart Gym Board, and what it basically is is a system that connects this to your computer via Bluetooth and allows you to experience games while exercising and being active at the same time. So why don't you give it a shot here, yeah?
Okay, I will do that. It seems to have these little cushions on the bottom, and it's like a mat, so
That's
basically
right.
you're just walking in place, right?
Yes, the cushion itself is made of urethane, so as you can see, it gives it a springy feel. Now, not only does it make it feel more natural, but it also helps burn 2 to 3 times more calories, which is great news
So
for
if you,
a lot of
if you
people.
go a little faster?
Yeah, you can move a little
Does the
bit faster
graphics
as
move?
well. And you can start to feel it. It actually keeps track of how many calories you're burning and how many steps you've taken there in the upper corner, so you can see and monitor your progress as well, which is really nice. Also, the urethane cushiony material means that it's very silent, so you can use it without disturbing other members of your household, as well as not waking up the neighbors, perhaps, if you
Okay.
want to exercise late at night.
Especially because of the fact that most of us live in apartment houses with
Exactly.
people below us, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
definitely a concern.
Now this is definitely a scenic, and it gives you a certain motivation to get on this and walk around, right?
Right.
But do you have something a little bit faster?
Yes, there's something definitely more active. We're moving on here. Now, I'd like to point out as well that there's no cables or anything around.
yeah.
Everything's controlled entirely by Bluetooth. Once you have the machine, you can simply download the software, connect it to the smart gym board via Bluetooth, and you're good to go. So let's give this a shot right here. This is something a little bit faster. This is a running and jumping game. So as you can see here, the faster I move my feet, the faster the game
How are you
itself
jumping right
moves. Pressing the 2 right in front of me there.
Go faster, Jesse.
Okay, let's
Wow, Jesse.
Oh, you just wiped out right there.
So this is due to smart foot user interface technology, which means that the faster I move my feet, the faster the game goes. You can slow it down to a slower pace as well, depending on what your fitness level is. All right, let's give this a go. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not too good at the
this
game.
one definitely gives like an aerobic workout, and I'm afraid to get on that thing right now because by the end of the show, I'll be sweating like all over.
Right, it definitely gives you a really great workout, and it responds to how you press on it. Now, not only are there sports games such as this, running games, there's dancing games, there's even academic titles to help sharpen the mind as well as the body. So it's really great for kids, for sure, to get them active instead of just sitting in front of a computer screen.
That's
wow,
right.
and I'm already a little bit out of breath from that. So you get a great workout on this, so that's awesome.
That does sound fabulous. It looks like this does offer a lot of different benefits. We do have just 2 games that are out here, but the software for this is currently still in development. Of
That's
course,
right.
you know, they will come out with more games. It looks like one of those old DDR machines that we used to see.
Exactly, and there is a dancing game very much like that as well that you can play. And not only that, but they have different instructors. So on screen, that come on screen, you have a dance instructor for the dance game, an aerobic instructor, a sports instructor. So you get all this sorts of, input as well into how to use the machine. So that's really awesome.
Okay, so we can see an example of what he's doing over there.
Yes.
These are some of the other games that they have in store. That's the urethane
The
padding.
urethane padding, yeah, that helps cushion as well as burn more calories. And as I mentioned, it's very silent as well, so you don't have to worry about waking people up when you're using it.
And then it's spring-loaded too.
Yeah.
You can remove that?
Yeah.
Oh, you can remove it, but you want to keep it there.
You want to keep it there.
For that
yeah.
cushion, right?
Of course. Exactly.
So this is the Tenjoy Smart Gym.
And as you can
Look
see,
at that.
yes, people enjoying it there.
That has to give you some kind of a workout.
Oh, as I mentioned, I'm almost out of breath already just from that. And with these hiking programs as well, not only is there Namisum, but there's other different famous tourist attraction trails as well that you can walk on, which is very cool, of course.
Okay. Now, we've seen these trekking machines, and so that's great. It looks like a lot of fun. But over here, we have, this is actually SJ, for those of you who didn't catch him. He is wearing some kind of a virtual reality. He's wearing the Oculus,
can
which
you
is a hot
see?
item these days.
Let's start him again.
Another run at this one. I was trying to
Okay,
go.
there you go.
Here, it goes
Here we
again.
go.
All right, so SJ, take it away and tell us all about this.
So I could barely hear you right now.
Yeah, he's got noise-canceling headphones, actually, which help bring him deeper into the experience. Now, I'll try it one more time. I think we're
And
going to
it's his
start.
first time
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so right now, the screen is showing 2 different displays because it's currently in 3D through the Oculus eyepiece that he's wearing, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is the snowboard simulator by 9 Fruits Media, and it really brings you
here we
into
go.
the experience, as we can see
Let's watch
right
for a little
here.
bit.
Yeah, he's about to take
watch
off.
him go.
Man.
Are you? It looks like he's faking it.
No, it really, I tried it. It really is. You really feel like you're in the game.
And the graphics are great.
They are, and where you're looking with the eye set is actually where the screen turns exactly. How you're moving with the board is exactly how you're going to move in the game. And you get, here's a jump right here. You can really feel it and feel the impact. So it really is
wipe out.
a true virtual reality experience.
You're going towards the rocks.
Can someone tell Ashay that we're in the studio, we're fine, it's okay, there's no snow around here?
Okay, tell us a little bit more about this whole platform over here. We have a makeshift snowboard on here.
That's right. So as you can see, the way he's moving his feet, and he's holding onto the bar for safety, of course, and when he moves his body forward, it turns in that direction, back, it turns in that direction, and it goes in all directions. As he crouches, he can jump, he can do slides on the rails. So basically, it really immerses you inside of the game completely,
So
as well as giving you a great workout.
This could also set the platform for other games such as skiing, maybe surfing, or anything that involves a board like that. But tell us a little bit about that fan that's up there. What's up with that?
That is really cool. Okay. As SJ goes into the trees, the fan actually blows faster or softer depending on how fast you're going in the game. So it simulates the wind blowing in your face as you're going down the hill. Now, one other thing to mention is right here, as you can see, the way you're moving the eye set right there is exactly where you're looking. And as we saw with SJ, you control it completely using the board and your body, taking jumps, wiping out if that tends to happen, and all of those things in between are possible, which is great.
Okay, so you can calm down now. That was a great ride for you, right? Okay, why don't we invite our co-host over here.
Give it a try.
Minjung.
This is the only time I'm a little nervous about coming over.
Now, you don't have to worry because with a lot of the virtual reality in the past, you can get nauseous because what your body is doing and what's on screen is different. But with this, your body and your eyes are controlling the game, so you don't have to worry about that. Did you feel dizzy at all?
This is the first time I've ever went snowboarding.
Wow, you look like you've just finished a marathon. Look at you.
Are you up for this, Jinju and Minjung?
Give it a try.
But Jinju said she wanted to try that thing.
Okay. Will I be
Let's see how you do. Press the 2 to jump.
2?
Yeah, the one in front of you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Start
All
running
right,
in place.
Jinju, show us what you got.
Okay, press, not in the grass.
Maybe you should,
press 2.
You should get back on the track.
2, all right. No, you gotta press 2.
Bad
2?
timing.
Yeah.
Wait.
You look like me on the slopes.
Run on the 5 and the 6.
Wait.
Okay, okay, you need to, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
See, now press the 2 to jump.
Jump!
Oh! No, not actually jump. Press the 2. Jinju is new to this whole thing, as we can see.
I think I can't get this.
Okay, not much of a sportsman, Jinju.
I fail.
Good try. It does take practice. It's not easy, but it is definitely
like
fun.
I'm sweating already.
Yeah,
Just
it's
running.
Why don't you get on this
workout.
and go for a snowboard?
Somebody try this.
This is probably not, especially because we're wearing a skirt.
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to have to get on this myself.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah,
let's
you're going to
see.
give it a go?
Let's see
All
how
right.
this works, okay?
Okay, I'll get out of your...
Okay, put the noise-canceling headphones on as well.
All right, I'll move on.
You know, you'll think I was exaggerating, but you'll start feeling
I think
this.
you were exaggerating.
Yeah.
Here you
Okay,
go.
goggles
This is
on
the most
first.
important one.
Goggles on first.
Yep.
The other way around.
Oh, I feel like I'm wearing some night vision. I'm a member of a SWAT
Well,
team.
instead of ski goggles, you're wearing the Oculus
All right, you got
goggles,
those?
right?
Oh, wow.
Are you ready?
Okay, this is kind of creepy.
All right, you're
Okay.
about to get started. Get ready.
All right, we're nervous for you,
If you
Young.
feel faint, don't hesitate to speak stop.
Right, okay. If you speak stop, I will stop the machine. Don't worry.
All right, let's get you going. It's
Okay.
loading. Ooh.
Here we go.
3,
2, 1,
go!
All
How come I'm not going? Okay, there it is.
right, Young's gonna fall immediately.
Oh, wow.
And the fan starts working right away.
Wow, Young.
Are you dancing or are you boarding right now?
I don't know what I'm doing right now.
He's having a lot of fun now. We're gonna wrap up the show over here while he has a lot of fun. All right, well, that's just about this it for this edition of Korea Today.
Okay, we'll be back here at 7 tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
All right.